What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the weekend recap. Show number 2, as we tried it last week. And I want to, first of all, thank everybody for the comments and mostly, well, I think all positive comments actually about, hey, keep the recaps coming. So I asked and I said, hey, I'll keep doing it if you guys want me to. And it seems like you want me to, so I'll keep doing them. So we have a lighter show this week for sure, because, last week we had Prairie Meadows, we had Horseshoe Indianapolis, we had four days really of stakes races to talk about from Saratoga. Not as much, but we do have enough for sure. We have enough to go over and enough excitement. So let's do it. I'll bring them up on the screen here. We'll look at the results together as we start. And I'm going to go with the main event of the day on Saturday and really of the weekend. And that was the Diana Stakes there at Saratoga. It was a race of the week for me, for sure, with Excellent Truth, and she feels pretty much just throwing it down. Top of the stretch, it looked like She Feels Pretty was going to go by and maybe win by, a length or two, and just kind of couldn't shake Excellent Truth on the inside, who just kept battling back. They hit the wire together. Excellent Truth, I believe the official margin was a neck. That's what it looked like to me anyway. So Excellent Truth gets the job done. And then She Feels Pretty has to settle for second. I think some people are saying, I think it was the yielding turf for She Feels Pretty. I'm not sure. I thought she ran excellent. I think sometimes, whether it be Saratoga or Del Mar that's getting ready to open up, it's just really tough to win races at those tracks, right? And I just think that's what it was. I thought She Feels Pretty ran tremendous. I thought Nitrogen, we were talking about her last week that got beat at short odds. I thought she ran really well and just got beat. Excellent Truth has been really good over here. 2 races since coming overseas and 2 races for Chad Brown. They were second place efforts, but both races, she was pretty darn good in those, and she was just excellent in this one. They both received 102 buyer speed figures for the effort, which shows you that they ran pretty darn good. So really, really nice race. What are we going to see going forward? I kind of think these horses are both, horses that can go to the Breeders' Cup and if not be competitive, just be competitive, win. I think they're the 2 best right now in the female division on the turf. I just really think these are 2 you're going to have to look out for. Wherever they run next, I'm sure they're going to be favored. I don't know. Obviously, if they run against each other, one will have to be favorite and one will be second choice. But I just kind of think these are kind of the standard as of right now, as of what they've done in 2025. Now, obviously, it could change. We've still got 3 or 4 months left before the Breeders' Cup, but as of right now, as far as horses running here in the United States, these 2 kind of stick out. Chad Brown, Cherie DeVoe, hitting the wire together, as well as obviously a story. Chad Brown wins this race seemingly every year. He's so tough to beat here. And, of course, former assistant Cherie DeVoe right there with him. And, boy, Cherie had a very good opening week at Saratoga. I'm sure she would have liked to get this one for sure. Didn't. But and I'm sure it bothers her that Chad Brown was able to beat her. But that's how it goes. These 2 are going to knock heads for a long time, I feel like, in the turf division. Cherie came up under Chad Brown, like I said, former assistant. And I just think these 2 are going to get a lot of really, really good turf horses, and these are going to be the battles for a while. So anyway, I thought this was the race of the week so far. It's probably the best race we've seen all July. It could be trumped here in the next couple of weekends because we got some big ones coming up. But really good running of the Diana. I thought these 2 horses just ran extremely, extremely well. Got to give them a lot of credit. One thing I'll mention, Be Your Best scratched out of the race. Be Your Best was probably going to be the speed. So that did change the dynamics a little bit as well, but still, I don't think it really gave She Feels Pretty an excuse. I just think she got beat on the fair and square there. All right, let's go to the Bowling Green next. And this one had a lot of scratches. That was probably the story of this one. Left us with a field of 4 once things were all said and done. And this basically became a paid workout for Farbridge. There's no question about that. It just seemed like the whole race, it's like, yes, Tucson is out in front, but Farbridge is just sitting right there. Like, I don't think this horse is going to hold off Farbridge. And he didn't. He passed Tucson like he was standing still. El Razine, I thought El Razine ran a pretty darn good race. I think if you find this horse in a grade 2 or a grade 3, well, I guess this was a grade 2, but a little bit of a weaker grade 2 or a grade 3, I think El Razine is kind of that horse. I don't think he's going to beat a grade 1 winner like Farbridge unless he gets some help. But I do think, El Razine probably one you need to stable up. And if you see him pop up in the entry box and it's like, that's an interesting spot. That's a little bit of a spot where like, oh, there's not a Farbridge in here. I think El Razine, I think he's getting better, and I think he's one to really keep an eye on. But Farbridge is going to go to the Sword Dancer after this. He's clearly going to face better. There's no question about that, right? I mean, this was not the best of races for sure. He's 4 horses. He had to beat 3, and again, these 3 just weren't up to his level. He'll face a lot tougher in the Sword Dancer, but this is just a really, really good horse. He's just turned into just a really solid runner. So he'll be tough. I would imagine when that Sword Dancer comes out, you're probably going to think, he might be too short of his price. Try to play against him a little bit. He's kind of that type a little bit, but, we'll just kind of cross that bridge when we get there. We'll see what happens. We'll see how that field looks when the time comes. 101 buyer for Farbridge. I would say this, it's a 101, and he didn't really get asked for a whole lot. I think he could have ran a little bit faster if asked. So again, another just really impressive win. He did what he was supposed to do. I know a lot of times people, when they see wins like this, they're just like, I don't really care. I would say when I see a win against it's a field you should beat, the horse does it, and he does it, and he beats them, he or she beats them like he should. Like, it was never close. It was never in doubt. I give him credit for that. Now, if he wins by half length, you're like, he got lucky, right? But I give a horse credit even though it's a bad field, hey, he beat him like a bad field, and that's all you can really ask for him to do there. All right, let's go to one more on Sunday. I was happy for a couple of reasons. I had Governor Sam. Of course, I had him to win, but he was short price. Tried to play him in a double, and I did lose. But I was happy when this horse won. So Governor Sam, as a horse that he's been running really well this year, just hasn't been able to get that win. Gets it done in the quick call. This was on Sunday. And I wanted to mention this one, 92 buyer speed figure he received for this effort. But I just kind of wanted to mention it because I thought, boy, that may be his best race. Like, that was really good. I think Governor Sam is a pretty nice horse. Now, is he like, hey, he's going to win the Breeders' Cup Sprint? No, no. But just kind of another one. Just kind of keep your eyes out for him when he enters again. I think he's going to be tough to beat. I think he's kind of raced into shape a little bit as well. So I was pretty impressed with Governor Sam. Wanted to give him a mention. He did everything the right way there. Again, another short favorite there at $3.50. So, you do look at that and go, well, he should have won. True. But still, to kind of win that easily, and that kind of just a dominant effort. Again, he did what he was supposed to do, and I give horses credit for that. He also got a very good setup, and that probably made him look even more dominant in that one. So I thought that was a good effort there. So that kind of recaps Saratoga, other than one more. I think it recaps the stakes race I want to talk about. But another race people are buzzing about, I'll put it up on the screen now. It was race 1 on Saturday. It was a maiden special weight for 2-year-olds going 6 furlongs on the dirt. Sloppy track here. Tagermean, the number 4 horse who finished second in this race for Steve Asmussen, a lot of hype around this horse. And you know how it is at Saratoga. It seems like almost every maiden special weight, or a lot of the maiden special weights, there is a horse that is the quote unquote fastest horse in the world, right? And sometimes they're Ewing and they come through, like last weekend, how Ewing just dominated, and you go, yeah, the hype was right. And sometimes they do what Tagermean did and they run okay, but get beat. So anyway, Tagermean was in this spot, but it was Curtain Call, the number 2 horse, that just blew him away. I mean, it was not close. Curtain Call, just a runaway winner in this one. Did it very professionally. It was one thing talking about Curtain Call and how good he was, and everybody was excited. But the other thing is, Curtain Call was the horse that finished second to Obliteration at Churchill Downs in the race that Obliteration broke his maiden. And then, of course, he went on to win a stakes last weekend here. So while Curtain Call was very impressive, and you do kind of get excited after you see that, obviously. And obviously the horse did improve second out, like most of them do. Obliteration, to be able to just dominate this horse, then come back to dominate a stakes, and then the second place horse comes back to dominate like Curtain Call did, it really flatters him quite nicely. So just to keep an eye on that. And again, I keep telling myself, as I sit here record this video, it's July 14th. We really have a good solid start to the 2-year-old season, and it is very early. But to have Curtain Call, Ewing, and of course Obliteration on the radar already is tremendous. And like I said, it's July 14th. We got Del Mar opening week coming up, right? I mean, so you're going to get all the Bafferts and whoever else up there in California, plus so many more days of Saratoga as well for your usual suspects to debut horses. So pretty exciting 2-year-old season so far. A long way to go in it, but so far really like what I'm seeing. So, all right, that's kind of it. Like I said, we've got a little bit of a shorter show today because there's just not a whole lot to talk about. I would suspect a longer show next week, and that's what I'm going to finish with. I'm going to just kind of tell you what's coming up next, or what's coming up this week that we will be recapping next week. It is the Haskell coming up, and journalism is going to be there as of right now. They draw that race on Tuesday, so we'll get the official word, and you'll get an official preview, obviously, for that one. So that's going to be very exciting to see that. We do have Del Mar opening weekend as well. That's always a lot of fun to get that season started. And then Saratoga is going to have the Coaching Club American Oaks, the Vanderbilt, and some other races as well to kind of talk about. So, like I said, it is a jam-packed weekend. And then next weekend is Jim Dandy and the return likely of Sovereignty. So a lot going on, and we'll be here to recap all of it for you next week. But for this week's show, we're done. We're out of here. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching this video. Hit that like button if you like it. Hit subscribe if you really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do these weekend recaps. And most importantly, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.